Property Flipping 101. Let's talk flips and what do you need to know about them. So how do you make a complex subject simple? Well, let's start with what is a flip. Now, what makes it complex is most people think it's buying a property, refurbishing the property, and selling it on at a higher value. But you can also do something called an assisted sale, which is don't buy the property, refurbish it, and sell it. So you can benefit from the profit without actually buying it. Another one is buying a property and then turning a 2-bed into a 3-bed or splitting titles. So it's like, right, this actually isn't that basic. So let's bring it down to beginner level, purchasing a property, refurbishing it, adding value, and selling it for a profit. Can anyone do a flip? Is it really a beginner level strategy? The answer is yes, but you must get your numbers right. And if you stick around, I'm going to show you exactly how to make sure you get profit from every single deal. The biggest thing that people get wrong when doing a flip is they misprice the refurbishment. Everything else is kind of, yeah, it's obvious. Like you can analyze the end value of a property. You can put in an offer and get it accepted. You can get the legals and the brokering work done. But actually understanding what's going to go into the refurbishment is where people go wrong. Financing. How do you finance flips? Well, if you want to try and get away with it, you get a mortgage and all that. No, that would be mortgage fraud. So don't do that. And I'm not going to give that guidance on this channel. Don't do it. So you need to be upfront with your broker. So you can get some mortgages that will allow these without early redemption charges. A lot of people think they're being really smart by doing this with a mortgage, but a majority of them will have a minimum 2 years of that lend. And if you pay it back sooner, you have an early redemption charge, which is kind of is what it says on the tin. If you redeem it early, you pay a charge in the £2,000 to £5,000 range. People don't factor that in. That's coming off your profit margin. So how should you really do them? Well, either you buy them cash or you get bridging. All right. Bridging is essentially lending, but it's very much short-term lending, less than 12 months. And bridging allows you to buy a rundown property, completely uninhabitable. Then you do the refurb and sell it on at the end. You need to have multiple exits. And I'm talking about personal experience here. So this is probably about 4 years back. I got this bridging loan to buy this flip. And it was just sticking on the market. And first of all, get your timelines right. You are not, I repeat, you are not going to buy a property, refurbish it, and sell it in 4 months. The amount of times people have come to me and said that, it ain't right. I always factor in 9 months. Now, you might go, I can do all of that in 6 months. Great. Then you make more money, don't you? But I would base it off of 9 months. And the reason for that is bridging costs go up. Also, if you ask for bridging for 6 months, then they will contract it for 6 months. And once you go outside of contract, you will start paying a penalty rate. So instead, what I'm going to do is, if anything, I'm going to ask for it for a year, but ask that there's no penalty for paying it off sooner. That way, I factor in figures for a longer time, and then I actually get it for a lot cheaper. So my personal story with this is I actually asked for bridging for 5 months, getting cocky, done all of my numbers, and I manipulated all of the numbers to make sure it worked. Never ever do that. Screwed it up, went over budget, went massively over time, and then by the time I ended up selling, it was something like November, which is not a good time to sell a property. You want to get it in before summer and get the summer rush, right? So I end up sticking around, and then luckily, pure accident, managed to refinance onto a mortgage, and I still own that property today as a buy-to-let. So what is the tip, Jamie? The tip is to always have a second strategy backup. I will only buy flips that I can keep for the long term, worst come to worst. I will never buy a flip where the only exit is selling as a flip. Always have a backup and always have a contingency plan. Final quick tip, you need to know your numbers, but if you've been watching so far and you're like, damn, I need to know a lot more than I thought, and honestly, you do. How can you expect to get in property and make hundreds of thousands of pounds and think you can just watch some YouTube channels? Imagine a brain surgeon just going, it's all right, I've never done this, but don't worry, I've watched some videos. You're my first patient. You'd be like, Well, you're probably not saying anything, are you? But seriously, if you're at that stage where you want to take this more seriously in 2024, put education in the comments. You can have a free consultation with myself or one of my team, and we'll work out what you're looking to achieve. And if we can help you, we'll talk about what programs and packages we've got. So put education in the comments below. Financing the deal is ticked, tips, ticked, contracts, tick. What about the numbers? Well, this is the thing that people just fuck up on, and it's like, it's so obvious when I tell you, but most people don't do it. They'll see a property on Rightmove, see it needs work, and it's listed for 200,000. They go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go view that property. Great, it needs work, therefore I must be able to add value, right? No, not really. Then you go there, then you price it up, then you get a build around that prices it up, and then you go, oh, it doesn't actually make the profit that I want, so I can't buy it. So, right, and most people are doing it that way, by the way. How should you do it? Well, the first thing you do is ignore the property. All right, what does that mean, Jamie? Well, the fact that it's listed at 200, it means nothing to me. It gives me an indication of what they've told the vendor that they can get. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to download the EPC, the Energy Performance Certificate. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the square footage of the property. And then I'm going to compare that within a quarter of mile to like properties with similar square footage. I'm going to get a list of evidence, at least 5 of the properties that are listed, hopefully sold and completed, if not at least sold subject to contract. I'm then going to get all of those prices in a spreadsheet. I'm then going to get the square footage on a spreadsheet, and these are done up properties, by the way. These are like the end valuations. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the sold price by the square footage. For example, let's say the end value is 200,000 and it's 1,000 square foot. Then if you divide the 200,000 by 1,000, it's £200 per square foot. And I'm looking to get 2 valuations. My guesstimation based on the averages of what the end valuation is going to be by averaging the prices, but I'm also going to get an average price per square foot. And that's going to give me a much more accurate valuation. I'm going to value it on both, see how close they are, and then go for the bottom one to be conservative. Then I've got my end value. The next thing I'm going to take is my profit. The most important thing is my profit. I'm going to aim for around 15%. So again, let's say it's a 200,000 end value on the property. I'm going to take 15% off of that, which is 30,000. I'm now at 170. Then I'm going to take off my refurbishment. Let's say that's another 30,000. So now I'm down to 140,000. Then I'm going to take off any fees such as solicitors, brokers. Remember, I'm going to have a sales fee as well. For ease, let's just say it's £10,000. That's not accurate at all, by the way, but I'm going to take that off. So we've gone from 170 to 140. Now we're at 130 after taking that 10K off. And last but not least, well, it is the last one, stamp duty. Always take stamp duty off last because stamp duty is a cost to the purchase. It's tax on the purchase. So it's not this, it's around 3,900, but let's say it's £5,000 in stamp duty. We're now at 125,000. So now I know I can pay £125,000. So most people start at the beginning and go towards the end. What I like doing is starting at the end and working my way back, and I account for my profit as stage 1. I hope that's been valuable enough that if you are looking to invest in yourself, hopefully you realize that myself, my team at Aspire are the ones to be able to help you. And if that is you, you want to have just honestly a no obligation, no hard pitch, anything like just to chat to understand where you're at and where you want to get to. Put education in the comments. We'll send you a link. You can reply to that. We'll put a link in as well and pin that to the top. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe and the notification bell, and it takes you 2 seconds but has a massive impact. Lightly tap that like button and I'll see you in the next video.